Oh, shit.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Dead Funny Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Join me
Did you
today.
forget your name?
I did. Join me today. We have
What the
Kelsey
fuck?
Cody Burberry. What's up, guys? Yeah.
That's the kind of day we're having, guys.
That
Can't
is-
remember our own name.
That is the day. That is the day. Look, I did like two and a half hours recording for Dark Star, and then had like an hour to like eat and be a human, and then right back to Dead Funny. So give me a
Must
break.
be human.
Give me a
Are
break.
you trying to get compassion? Because you're not going to get it.
No. It's okay. It's okay. The viewers love
No
me.
compassion for
Hopefully.
you.
Hopefully. So actually, since I talked about Dark Star right there, so one of the shows that we're reacting to is the newest season of SAO. I found a YouTube channel for it was like top 20 anime shows that got like extremely big backlash, whether it was controversial issues or anything like that. Man, did I almost get something spoiled for me. Woo! I knew that I was probably not going to know any of the animes, and there was like maybe it was top 20. There's maybe like 4 animes I knew. But the last episode, the very last like clip was SAO. And like it was showing like shit from season 2, and like SAO is my favorite anime, and everybody's always like SAO season 2 is fucking trash. Da, 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 da. It's like known to be hated for that. So I thought that's what they were going to talk about. And then all
Which
of a sudden,
season is season 2?
Oh,
Fill
I'm
me
sorry.
in, because I've watched like half
Season
of
1,
it.
Part 2.
So the one with the
ish. So
Are you
it's supposed to be 4 arcs, and it's supposed to be the way that they titled it. They were going to do 2 arcs per season. So
Right.
season 1 would be SAO, ALO,
right.
and then season 2 would be GGO and ALO 2.
Can you please use the actual names?
Okay.
Sword Art
So
Online,
when you say season
Alfheim
2, are
Online,
you talking about
Gun
Gun
Gale
Gale, or
Online, and Alfheim Online Part 2.
are you talking about Alfheim, or are you talking about Gun Gale? Because I have an opinion on this.
Well, they wrap the entire both arcs up as one season, so they consider the entire season to be trash. Both
Right.
arcs.
So you're
So
talking
Gun Gale
Gun
and
Gale.
Alfheim Online Part 2, not 1.
Okay, no. Okay, I was gonna say Alfheim Online 1, terrible. Gun Gale and Alfheim 2 got kind of. Alfheim 2 was weird. Gun Gale 1 was, yeah, it was pretty good.
What? Alfheim Online 1. Let me start saying I'm completely biased, because that's my favorite anime. It's 100% my favorite anime. So I thought the entire thing was great, for sure, 100%. I even cry every time I watch the 4th arc again. Like whenever I get to the end of the 4th arc, I cry every time. Like it's so sad. I love that fucking arc. So
Well, that one's like meant to be a tearjerker, right?
It is,
Wait,
for sure.
Am I allowed to say spoilers?
I mean, I know at one
Say
point.
spoiler and then say it.
Well, he's talking
Okay.
about for the people
You're
on the
fine.
cast.
yeah,
we're
Kelsey,
good.
If you
Oh,
haven't
wait.
seen season 2 yet, when season 3 is almost pretty close to done or some shit like that at this point, like I mean, dude, it's your fault.
It's on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
wasn't
saying,
talking
that's
about
the
you.
one
I
where
was talking
they're
about the
like-
viewers. My cast, I give a little bit more compassion for on that. So
Okay, well, spoilers. I feel like season 2, where they're like, now we're gonna talk about people dying a lot in real life
I mean,
because of illness.
there
like,
was a
oh,
point to
Merry
that,
Christmas
though.
on this one.
There
No,
was a
it was
point to
actually a
that.
good arc. It was a good
It's
arc.
a great arc. I loved it. It was so good. It was. We
My
finally
beef
got
was-
Asuna back. That was my issue with the entire
Well,
fucking first show. Was Asuna was this, as Kirito said, floor clearing badass, and then she went from that half of the season to the damsel in distress forever after
Yeah,
that.
that did kind of undercut her character when it's like, look,
Yeah.
it's Kirito's equal, but as a girl, it's like, well, that's a cool relationship. And then it's like, no. No, she's going to wear very little clothing and sit in a cage for a long time.
an entire season, and then
And
she's
then
gonna be
Gun
chained
Gale
up
starts.
where she can't do anything, and then they're gonna rip her fucking clothes off of her, and she's just gonna sit there fucking naked. And I was like, what is this shit?
And-
Although
and
that
that's-
scene was amazing when Kirito literally said, "How do you expect the Kirito voice or the Kirito voice interaction with Oberon was amazing." Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, I was gonna say phrasing on that one.
Although I have made it very clear on Dark Star and very clear on Dead Funny that Asuna is Bae. So she is Bae. Anyways, so whenever he said there's no way a king of thieves could beat the gilded hero, I was like, bro, he's about to fuck his shit up. Oh, it was so good. Oh, it was so good.
No, but I liked, so yeah, season 1 I would say I was okay with, or I should say arc 1. I was like, yeah, this is like pretty cool. And then arc 2 happened, and that's where I was like, I'm gonna stop telling people that I watched all of this anime alone at 1 a.m. And then Gun came out, and I'm just like, oh, come on! Like, great, more no Asuna, and now he's gonna pretend to be a girl, and he's kind of gonna just cheat on Asuna for like a long time. Like, not really cheat on her, but he's just like, well, it's in game, so I'm not married in game. Like, wow, that kind of undercuts this whole thing where this becomes your second life and how friendships are actually made. Nope. Screw that I'm married.
So we were actually just talking about that for the last one because, I mean, fucking spoiler alert. I mean, it's pretty much the way I pointed out is Kirito walks in the room and it's just his scent. It just must be his scent. But every girl within a 5-mile radius is 100% into Kirito, and Kirito is just 100% oblivious to all of it. Every fucking time. It is ridiculous. Like, to this point, it is asinine. The first arc, you've got Asuna, you've got Lisbeth, you've got Scylla, you've got... There was another one. I don't know.
You could just say every girl.
Yeah, basically.
Every episode. It was just like, here's another girl to make moony eyes at you, and then she dies, so there's no repercussions.
So without like hitting hardcore like spoilers, because this is season 3 and this is somewhat new-ish, there's this one chick that is technically like a senpai. Like, she's pretty high up there. We've maybe have seen her for 2 episodes, and she's already fucking all about Kirito. Like, I'm like, how? How is this possible? Like, we've seen you for 2 episodes, and you're already like, Kirito, oh my god! I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Chris, don't you know? What? Sorry, hang on, Kelsey, go ahead.
So this is usually one of the ways I can tell if a series, a show, whatever has been written by a man. Because if it's been written by a man, every woman is just like, oh my god, I want him. Like, they're all thirsty beasts.
The best time
if it's written by a woman, there actually needs to be a little bit more interaction before they turn into a thirsty beast.
The best part is I said that. I said that on the actual Dark Star reaction too. I literally was like, whoever wrote this must have been single their entire life. And this guy is just like, I want Kirito to be the ladies' man that I thought I would be. And so he's just living his life through Kirito.
And what I love, too, is, like, if there's one thing I'm sure women find attractive, it's, like, egomaniac, insane, just, like, speeches of craziness. Which I did not realize, like, how much of an anime trope that was until I rewatched the first Pokemon. And, like, in episode 1, Ash Ketchum just, like, screams at a thunderstorm that he's gonna conquer the world. And I am like, these are some passionate teenagers. I was way lazier than this. But apparently what women want is a guy that's like, I will become the destroyer of all! Like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, try that in real life, and let's see how that works for all of you.
Yeah, just like walk into a bar, just be like, I will destroy everything. Like, whoa, Kirito, you're kind of a homicidal maniac, a little bit.
The funny thing is I feel like in real life it's the opposite way, where guys are like going after girls, and girls are totally oblivious when guys like them, or act oblivious. I feel like it's the exact opposite in real life.
I mean, it's literally to the point where I literally think Kirito's just dumb. Like, he literally just does not have that part of his brain to understand that someone is into him. Like,
well, that's kind of the game, though.
Grabbing
it's like
your
cat
arm,
and mouse.
and she's constantly putting her head on your shoulder and like, "Hey, my God, Kirito, I was so worried about you." Like, that obviously means there's something there.
Wait.
It's not cheating if he doesn't know it's happening.
Sorry, we need to talk about how creepily accurate your anime girl voice is. Because that means you've seen way too many of these.
Do it again.
I told you. It's every time this motherfucker walks in a room, the first 20 chicks he runs into, we got to get through like a small little passionate love arc of fucking like 5 episodes each one of them. Sooner or later, you get used to it. Like, you're like, fuck, I just want to see some sword fighting shit.
Oh wait, hang on. Did you guys see Game of Thrones, like the episode that
Yes.
came out on Sunday?
Yes.
Did we see
Yeah.
Game of Thrones when we just got done with a review show on Game of Thrones, the first episode?
Okay, so I kind of imagine that part where Kirito's sister finds out that she can't date her brother twice in a row. You know, like her face after that is basically just Sam's face when he finds out. He's like, "Oh well, you know, my dad's dead, but at least my brother's alive." Like, no. Just Sam's face. Like,
Oh, we didn't say spoiler alert.
oh shoot! Sorry, spoiler alert.
Technically, he said spoiler alert a long time ago, but if they didn't
this
tune
is all
out
bad.
by the time
Not
he
to
said
Game,
first
not to Game of
episode,
Thrones though.
doesn't matter.
No.
He kind of led that into that for a while.
Well,
I'll
I
put
will
it in
say
the
this-
description.
You need to no. You need to put like a notice before
Hashtag
it's said.
spoiler alert. Anyways,
The spoiler that I said technically is from like a year and a half ago.
true.
Other than Sam, Sam finally found out that his
Yeah,
dad and his
true,
brother are
true.
super dead,
But
and then made
him
this
dying
face.
definitely happened forever ago.
And yeah, Kelsey, I saw your face when I said that Kirito's sister found out he couldn't date him twice. Yep, that happened.
Technically,
That was arc 2.
Technically, that's actually not his sister; it's his cousin.
Yeah,
still
technically
family.
they're
Still family.
cousins. It's
Still
cool,
family.
so because they're cousins
Still
technically.
family. Because Kirito's parents abandoned him with their sister, so therefore, that's actually his cousin. But yes, she was in love with him.
Twice.
I think
Twice.
it's very important to realize
Well,
that
the
during one
second
of our
time she
first
didn't know it was
recording-
him.
Hang
Go
on.
ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
During one of our very first recording sessions, I went on a long tirade about how I was not super cool with incest. How often incest comes up in these recording sessions and the subject matter we're talking about
Well,
is super uncomfortable, guys. Like,
Kelsey,
It's
don't
the
watch
show,
anime.
not us. It's the show.
It comes up in anime.
and that's actually one of our friends, and I think everybody knows her, but one of our friends is really into anime and finally had to sit me down and explain to me, like, no, the Japanese aren't as obsessed, like upset by incest as we
No,
are,
they're
so
not-
you're
not
going to
even
find it a
close.
lot. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, there's
Why
like
is everyone cool with incest?
whole subgenres of anime that is very much
all
like
about
Big
it.
Brother romance. Yeah.
Yeah. They were.
I'm a little
that
bit
was
sad
actually
that I
one of
know
the
that.
animes. That was actually one of the animes on the list. Is that it's a teacher that falls in love with a 15-year-old girl, and they have a relationship, and it's also his niece. And like that's the entire anime. It's just their
Good.
relationship. Like there's nothing crazy. It's not like battling anything. There's no fighting. It's like a life simulator type anime, and that's it. And like people are okay with it. That's just it. It exists. It's got like a couple seasons. It exists. And it's not like they found out the information on the last episode either. It like all the information was out there before the relationship started.
I do think, Chris, you have now indicated exactly why it's sometimes hard to tell people that you're into anime. When they're like, wait, you watch anime? Like, let me explain, though. This is a longer conversation.
A little bit. I will say that's funny too, is because like my actual first time watching the second arc of SAO, I actually had somebody walk into, because I was watching it in the living room, I actually had somebody walk into it, and they're like, why do I keep hearing something about like you can't date him, he's your cousin or some shit like that? And I was like, well, there's a story, okay?
That
And as I was
fucking
going to say
alone.
earlier,
At 1 a.m. with headphones on. Hide
as
your
I was
shame.
going to say earlier, is the second time doesn't count, okay? I agree with that. The second time doesn't count. She didn't know it was Kirito. It was his
but that
online
scene where
avatar.
She finds out is pretty brutal.
Well, yeah, when she finds out, she automatically goes like, I can't fucking like have these feelings for him. He's my cousin. She didn't know it was his online avatar, and she doesn't look anything like her online avatar. To be fair, like, I will give you that too, though. Kirito does not look that different. Or, I'm sorry.
No, he looks,
I'm sorry.
he's always looked
Kazuto
exactly like
does
himself.
not look that much different than Kirito.
And he used the same name. Like, he's famous, and he
Kinda.
used the same freaking name. Yeah. Anyways.
Anywho,
Anyways, but the part that I was getting to was like they literally said, oh, and then SAO season, and then they're all like, and Yu-Gi-Oh, which is one of the main characters in the last one, gets put in a situation. I was like, whoa! I never jumped up and grabbed my mouse so fast before in my life and closed out. I was like, some shit was about to get spoiled for me. That was about to happen, because at that point we were like 4 episodes in. I was like, there is no fucking way this shit is going to be about the first 4 episodes. It's just not impossible. It's physically not possible. Oh, I was so scared. I was like, Tony's going to be so mad at me if I would have watched that. Oh my god. You motherfucker. The opening to that,
Just
by the way?
imagine him yelling and go, whoa! Like in the middle of like nothing around him. He's just like closing out shit.
It's like I
Freaking
literally
out.
got to that point where like I was relaxed. Like I'm like laying back in my chair. I even had like my feet up and everything. And all of a sudden it's all like, and then Yu-Gi-Oh got forced into a situation. I was like, ah!
The only thing that gets impacted is this cat that's sitting next to him. Like, what the fuck?
Stop! No! Stop it!
So
It was so good.
at my wedding, one of my groomsmen spoiled Game of Thrones for me. Which this is like a way
That's
old
fucked up.
spoiler. And Kelsey, you know who this is. It was Eric.
Oh,
I-
for crying out loud.
I like walked into the room and
I
Eric was
actually know
like,
Eric
yeah.
too.
And then Jon Snow got stabbed in the heart, and I'm like, come again? Like, at my wedding, Eric, you ruined this for me at my wedding.
I never
completely
seen something
forgot
like that
about
without asking if someone's seen the episode.
Well,
The
now,
best
if
part
you walked
about
into
this
the room-
story is Bree's reaction. Because you definitely told this story on the first podcast. This definitely.
did I? Oh, dang it.
And Bree is like, and you were totally there for that fucking podcast.
I mean, Kelsey didn't remember either.
She wasn't
I
there.
I wasn't there.
Oh, well, God, Kelsey. I mean, you should have known.
Because
I
I
actually-
told
when you
you
I
that
have
I
really
was
was
like,
bad
oh, yeah.
memory. I have really bad memory. I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Because-
maybe our audience has a really bad memory, and they want to
Yeah.
hear my 3 stories every single week. Also,
Maybe.
I'm a dad, so I'm allowed to tell the same story just every day now. That's just like a part of it.
With a child that's not old enough to.
Yeah, right? I can tell him stories on repeat. He doesn't remember anything right now.
To be fair, the first time you brought it up was my fault because I was talking about how I got spoiled by the fucking Reddit post that I saw, and I was like, "You motherfuckers!"
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just
Oh.
a picture. It wasn't even fucking words. It was just a picture, and I was like, "You son
Kind
of
of-
bitches."
A huge twist for Dead Funny. Never talk about real life situations. But did you guys hear about what's going on in Paris right now?
The Notre Dame thing,
Yeah.
or Notre Dame.
Yeah. Did you hear about
I
it,
mean-
Kelsey?
It being on fire and now it's
Yeah.
out, or is there something else going on?
No, just that it was burning basically, and people were like freaking out, and it was all over the news. Just wondering if you guys heard about it.
How,
Oh, yeah.
how
Yeah.
I
is
definitely
this-
did.
How is this a twist for Dead Funny? I didn't understand.
We
that.
don't ever talk about real life things like anime, video games,
I was so fucking
or the
lost.
Dead Funny pooper scooper.
I was like, where the hell is this going? I had no idea where this was going. You're just like, so you guys heard this thing in Paris? And I'm like, I'm still not connecting these dots.
We don't
Like,
talk. How often do we talk about anything besides that stuff? Okay. Anyways, I was reading some information on it, and it was pretty crazy. They still don't know what caused the fire, and it burned like the
Mhm.
top part of the building, and then they already have $63 million in donations to fix the cathedral from like businesses in Paris.
Doesn't surprise me.
Which did happen.
Yeah.
The fire wasn't even out, and they already had a ton of money to fix the cathedral.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And I saw there's a lot of like political back and forth about who actually owns the cathedral, whether it's the Catholic Church or whether it's the French government. And I think it's the French government that own it. And so the donations are actually way
Oh.
more helpful than if it was the Catholic Church, who of course has boatloads of money. So
Interesting. I didn't know that there was an argument about whether who owned it or not.
it was mostly a who owns it, because that may determine whether or not I should give my money to having it restored. But what's really cool is a lot of the historical things that were in the cathedral were actually moved out for renovation 4 days before the fire started.
Oh yeah. Well, wow. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very lucky.
Is it
So,
lucky or is it a coincidence?
Yeah, this was
That
just
is
an
the
elaborate
same
heist.
thing.
I'm just saying, your way of phrasing that was like, yeah, it's extremely lucky that none of that got burnt down. I'm just saying, you didn't hit it with the, but is it a coincidence?
Maybe is it a correlation? Is that more what you're looking for?
I mean, are you going for was it planned that way?
Exactly.
Because
that's what he's going
coincidence
for.
and luck are the same thing.
You know what?
no.
Kelsey, we've talked
Yes,
about this before.
yes.
Don't come at me with your dumb logic, okay? I don't have time for that. Alright? I don't have time for that. I'm a
So
big man.
this might be a little macabre, but so right, I saw that it was burning down at work, and I like messaged a bunch of friends about it just because I was like, whoa,
What
Notre
is
Dame's on
macabre?
fire.
What does macabre mean? First off,
It's the
macabre-
same thing as lucky in coincidence. They're all kind of the same.
Bullshit.
they're
Dark.
all in the same.
oh, you
Oh,
were
yeah.
being serious.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. I was about to say like misanthropic, but that's not helpful.
I mean, I'm gonna have to start getting a goddamn dictionary.
Please
for this
don't
gotta
be
be
a
on the fucking
thesaurus.
podcast.
Don't ever give words for being a thesaurus. Oh my god.
Anyways, so I messaged a bunch of friends about it, and one of my friends who's like kind of snarky immediately messaged back, looks like Frollo was finally successful, and I'm like, that's a horrible joke.
Good lord.
If we were in France,
Oh
this
my
would be
God.
really ill-advised.
Frollo being
The guy
The-
from Hunchback of Notre Dame who sang the song Hellfire,
Yep.
kind of about
Yeah.
burning down the church, and then tried to burn down the church.
there was an
Dude,
artist that drew.
Huh?
I
How's
was
it-
listening to a heavy metal version of Hellfire that I found on YouTube, and I'm like, this is so cool, and like it just struck a chord with me. So I was like listening to it on repeat all day long, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, oh yeah, Notre Dame is burning, and I'm like, oh
Oh, it was
god,
Kelsey's
this was a
fault.
really bad day to listen to.
This was poorly timed. Also, that song is super creepy. I didn't see Hunchback until I was like 25, so a year ago, you know? It was the first time I watched that movie.
What?
Okay, I have found out recently that I know nothing about Disney movies. Did you guys know Dumbo can fly? Because I didn't. And my wife told me recently Dumbo flies. I'm like, he's an elephant. Why does
Or
the elephant fly?
Deprived man adult.
Your
So-
wife
Man.
worked at Disney. How have you not just
She
gotten this
worked
through
on the
osmosis?
flying Dumbo ride. Like, she stood next to it every day. I didn't know the elephant could fly. My point is, I saw Hunchback way late in life. I was like vaguely aware of the story. And I did not realize how creepy the song Hellfire is, because it's just like about this guy that's like, I want to kill Esmeralda. But
Yeah.
also, though, I also don't want to kill Esmeralda. And I wish she would come over here.
I
with
want to
love."
bang her.
And I'm like,
No,
ew,
no,
gosh,
no.
you're so gross.
No, it's creepier because it's I want to bone Esmeralda, and if I can't bone Esmeralda, then she gets to die.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Like
not
that's what it
good.
is. It is absolutely based on his belief that he deserves to own her, and it's creepy.
Yeah, my point is I didn't realize how freaking creepy Hunchback was. And then I watched it and I'm
Now
like,
you know.
this is gross. Why do we let kids watch this?
See, that's the thing, though. Like, because you've watched it as an adult, it's tainted because now you can catch all those adult innuendos.
Yeah.
When we were kids, it was just like, this is great. This is so good. I love this stuff.
If it makes you feel any better, I literally did not watch The Incredibles until the week before Incredibles 2 came out.
Oh,
That's almost kind of
horrible
nice.
thing.
Then you didn't have to wait years.
I mean, I didn't like the second one, so...
What? Oh, the second one was great. I loved it.
Yes, that was so good. Thank you.
I'm glad somebody did, but I mean, I didn't like the second one, so at that point I was kind of like, eh.
I thought it was clever. I liked Jack Jack. I liked where he beat up a raccoon. That made me
That was
laugh.
great. That was great.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
And I love how they nonchalantly just carry off where they left off, where they were supposed to make another one 10
Yeah,
years
right?
later, and they're like, okay, here you go.
All right, fine. If you guys are gonna bitch, I guess we'll give you what you asked for. Like, we meant
why
it. Damn it.
Why did they not create a second one? Like, why did it
What
take so
happened?
long? They just
Did the
didn't get
first
the funding.
Incredibles not do very well until like later? Was it kind of like a cult hit?
Oh, it was a hit at the time.
Okay, I didn't remember. I was super young.
Yeah.
It was so good.
We're barely older than you.
Huh?
We're barely older than you.
No, all of us would have been super young when it came out. I think I was like 11, you know?
That's not super young.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
definitely old enough to
comparatively to
formed
now it
memories.
is.
But when you're talking about remembering something, I remember stuff when I was 11.
I mean,
don't.
in
I
Cody's
don't remember,
defense,
like,
I'm not gonna
hardly
be able to tell
anything.
you what was a fucking blockbuster giant whenever I was 11. Like, I have no fucking clue.
I also
The
don't think I
Incredibles are
remember
huge.
anything about being 11. I think
feel
I
like this
played
is about to
video
start
games.
you on an existential crisis.
No, I've always had like a
What was I
real
like at
bad
11?
memory for the past. Like I just don't remember a lot from growing up, so it's not surprising.
All these repressed memories start coming back. No! What have you done?
I never got to see Dumbo fly.
No, I really didn't. I really did not ever watch Dumbo. Maybe I did, and I just totally forgot. But I told my wife the plot of what I thought Dumbo was. Turns out it was Pinocchio, and I'm like, all right.
My
Oh.
issue.
Do you like Pinocchio though, Mr. I'm afraid
No.
of whales?
No, I don't know. Is there a whale in Pinocchio?
Yes. He ends
Why
up.
is there a
He
whale
ends
in
up being
Pinocchio?
eaten by a whale.
Well, then no, I don't like Pinocchio. Why is he eaten by a whale?
You did not watch Pinocchio. We got
Apparently not.
caught in a lie.
We got caught in a lie about a show about a liar. It's pretty fucking great. I'm not gonna lie.
The only movie from that time that I watched was Great Mouse Detective, and I watched it like 700 times.
I'm not gonna
Anyone
lie.
ever?
The third one was totally unplanned. It just fucking happened. That was pretty good.
I
Anyone
could
ever
hear you
watch?
realize it. It was great.
It was awesome.
Did anyone ever watch Felix the Cat?
Oh my god, Felix was my shit. I had like
I
little
love
action
Felix the
figures of
cat.
Felix. He literally was like this black cat that just walked around on fucking two legs, and it was kind of like a Pink Panther type deal almost. But he's kind of like a hero almost, and he had this little fucking suitcase bag that literally was
suitcase
endless.
bag.
It was literally endless. He could pull whatever he needed to fucking save the day out of this fucking little bag. He was the shit. I love Felix.
We'll
my
get
baby.
all you guys together and we'll watch Felix the Cat.
I'm not gonna do that, but Felix. It was great for its time. I'm sure the show has aged horribly.
Brutal. Just shut that one down. Watch Felix the Cat? No, I hate that.
I would rather spend my time wisely and play Final Fantasy VII. That's all I'm saying.
You'd rather spend your time wisely and watch SAO for the 700th time.
Yes. Which, my last little tidbit on that, and I try to bring the conversation back up. My last little tidbit on that is that if you watch that season opener, the first one, that arc opener, she definitely does an 11-hit combo against
They're
that
not
monster.
going back to SAO.
Against
We
are now.
she did an 11-hit combo
Track.
on that monster that Kirito first does the dual wielding against to save everybody. It didn't happen in the show. It's bullshit.
Oh, I
bullshit.
mean, we got past
Oh,
this.
you
We
know what?
moved
You're
past.
right. You're right. I actually realized that now that you say it.
It did not happen in the show, and that's bullshit. She does
Well,
not
that's
learn that combo until the fourth fucking arc. How's that possible?
Wait, did they like specifically make her learn a combo?
Yes.
Isn't it just like
That's
if you
the fourth
believe
arc.
hard enough?
No,
You
that's
just
literally the
combo
fourth. No,
longer?
no, that's in the fourth. Actually, that's funny you say that. That's pretty much the premise for the fucking newest season. If you have more will than the other person, you're just stronger. Makes no sense. How do you stat shit up? It literally makes no fucking sense. It's the dumbest shit in the
does
world.
the story of SAO where Kirito
I agree.
dies, and then he's just like, but I believed more, so I'm not dead. Like, well,
But I mean, I
get
kid
it. You
you
want to have
not.
a story.
It is literally the source of the power in the third one. There's no jokes about that. It's like this dude is the strongest in the chair because he's never been beaten, so his self-confidence is just through the
Oh my
roof
gosh.
that he just can't be beaten. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. But the show has been phenomenal so far, I'm not going to lie, besides that one little plot.
But besides the story, the show's great.
But yeah, she doesn't learn that shit till the fourth arc. I was like, what the fuck? It's like when she fights Zekken. Zekken gives it to her. After she beats Zekken, she gets the 11
What's
hit
a
combo.
second?
I thought you said you watched the fourth arc.
The fourth arc?
Yes.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
I
What's a
watched it
Zekken?
once. I don't remember what a Zekken is.
The
All I remember
name
from
the name of the arc is Mother's Rosario. That's also the name of the combo move. She learns it from Yuki, who was the Purple Knight. The Purple Knight's name was
Oh, okay, yeah.
Zekken. After
I
she
remember.
beat Zekken, she got Mother's
Yeah.
Rosario.
Look, there was a lot of weird stuff. The world came to an end. They made their daughter into like a webcam that
No,
could drive around to school.
They were trying to do that, and then instead they gave it to the girl that was terminally ill, so that way she could actually be a student because she never got to go to school. She had to live her life in a machine the entire time.
Yeah.
So
My point is, a lot of stuff happened in that arc.
It did, but we got a lot of Bay, and that was where it was amazing. We got a lot of Bay. The whole season was about Bay. It was great.
Oh my gosh.
I did so good at moving us on Brought it full circle.
The problem is I have thoughts on SAO, so this is like a bad place for me to be because I could talk about it for way too long.
Oh man, we'll have to have an anime bitch session at some point. And just get on, and I'll just fucking yell at the fucking animes for the dumb shit they do. Oh man, good lord, good lord, such a great anime. Oh god, I get so much shit for it too because I really don't watch that much anime. I really don't. I have like maybe like 8 animes total under my belt. And everybody gets so mad at me because I'm like, SAO is literally the best anime ever created. And they're like, it is the worst. You just have it expanded
7 Deadly Sins
anywhere
is
you
the
need to
best
be.
anime ever created.
I don't know
Seven
about
Deadly-
that. 7 Deadly Sins was really good, but I don't think it was the best.
I mean,
really good.
it's definitely Cowboy Bebop, but I mean, you know,
Oh,
whatever.
dude, I grew
We can
up
move
with
past
Cowboy Bebop. That was so good.
Yeah.
I'm so
That's
excited
like
for
an
the
actual
live
good
action
story,
movie that's
though.
coming out. Isn't it live action?
There is a live action movie coming. I am,
I'm
man.
excited.
Let me tell you. You know what came out was Death Note.
I
and Death
remember
Note
that.
hurt
That was
me.
terrible.
It
Actually,
was so bad.
I'll give you this though. There's a silver lining with that one. I literally did not watch Death Note at all. I watched that movie and I was like, wow, the lore of this world is really cool. And then I watched the anime and I was like, wow, that movie was fucking terrible.
Yes,
It
yes, it
fucking
was.
terrible.
Just
the
about
anime
everything
is
that was
great.
good.
The anime
They
is fucking
ruined.
phenomenal. That movie was fucking terrible. Light was a terrible character. Fucking the chick, I don't remember her name. She was literally the worst in the movie. Like her anime
Yeah.
character in the show was amazing. Her in the movie was
Yeah.
terrible. Fucking terrible. I don't know what they thought they were
I
doing.
mean, the
with
same
that.
thing happened with Ghost in the Shell, where it's like, look, we're gonna do a Ghost in the Shell movie.
That was
Look, you guys ruined Ghost in the Shell. Good job. Stop
She-
making anime movies.
Scarlett Johansson. She recently just did. I don't know if you guys watch this YouTube channel at all, but it's called Firstly Feast.
Yeah.
And they do
I
that show
watched
called
it.
Hot Ones. Did you watch that episode with
yeah,
her?
Yeah, I
Oh
watched
my
it,
god,
yeah.
that was so fucking funny. She cracks me. Can you believe she doesn't have any social media at all?
I didn't know that.
That is crazy. No Twitter, no Facebook, no Instagram. She literally is not on social media at all.
I feel like that has to help your sanity.
To be the Black Widow and not have any social media at all, that's pretty fucking insane.
You know, if I was the Black Widow, I would not want to get a single tweet about it. I would be totally cool with no one ever tweeting me about
I
it.
feel
Because there is 0% chance that that is going to be a good tweet to get. There is no way that you're going to get a tweet where you're like, I'm glad I read that today. It's like, no, this is going to be the worst.
I personally feel like I'm gonna regret saying this, but just because you said that like that, see you in a Black Widow outfit with the black spandex.
You know, I think I could pull it off. You know what I mean? Like, it's just how confidently you wear it. It has nothing to do with how physically fit you are at all. Or just naturally attractive. Nope. I could wear it with confidence, and I think that's what would set me apart.
I could not. So you won that one against me, my man. You won that one against me. I'd put that on in the bathroom, like, yeah, I'm not coming out. That's just not happening.
Yeah, I'm not coming out.
Good lord. But yeah, she
I
was
regret
fucking
my life decisions.
hilarious on that fucking episode. Oh my god. She's like, I love chicken wings. And then like they got like to the third one out of 9. And she's like, I don't think I'm gonna make it the rest of the show. And I was just like, oh my god. Like when she was like, do we have anything else besides wings to eat? And he's like, well, we got stuff to combat the heat. We got rice and bread. And they bring her the rice. She takes like 2 spoonfuls. She's like, this is terrible rice. And just starts spitting it out into the trash can. I was like, Jesus Christ.
So I
Oh,
kind of
she's so
love that
good.
channel. Did you see the one with Rachel Ray?
I did not. I'm trying to get through them. I've seen a lot,
Holy
but I've
crap.
not seen that one yet.
She is a champion. She didn't eat the wings. She just took spoonfuls of the sauce
Jesus.
and like did a real interview. And I'm like, what the heck?
Good
Rachel Ray's a
Lord.
monster.
That's crazy. Because the one with, is it Coolio? Like, he only got to, like, the 5th wing or some shit, and then he literally just, like, I'm done. Like, I'm physically done. So, like, most of the other guys that I've watched so far, they're all like, well, I'm going to beat Coolio. But most of them are like, I want to try to get through all the wings without drinking anything.
Yeah.
My favorite one was Key and Pill. That shit was fucking hilarious. Oh,
was.
man, whenever it starts to get to Key... Man, that shit, he's just like screaming the entire time. They're like trying to have the conversation, like with the thing. They're like, "So what do you think about this Instagram post? What are you saying to me right now? My insides are on fire. You want me to have an interview while I'm eating this shit?" I was like, this is so great.
They're so funny. They're so funny. I love them.
I miss their show. God damn. Their show is so good. Oh,
The
I'm trying to
best
think.
one was the girl in where he played the girl
Oh,
and they
Megan?
played the girl. Yeah, the Megan one.
Megan?
I love the Megan skit.
Megan was so good. I'm trying to think of what my favorite skit was. I like the one with the bitch. She said bitch. Like, that was so good.
Yeah, they're like whispering it.
Yeah.
They have to go.
So
out
I'm
in
guessing you
space or,
haven't
like,
seen
up in a
any of
tree.
these, Kelsey. Wow, the look on your face.
No clue what you guys are
It's just
talking
these
about.
guys that kind of like were making their own like YouTube shit, and then it turned into like a Comedy Central thing. So they had their own skits, and it went on for like forever. And the one I was talking about is like they're downstairs. It's to the two husbands, and the wives are upstairs. And he's like, "Bro, you wouldn't believe it. She took forever to get in the car." He's like, "Oh yeah? That's why we're late. She took forever to get in the car." He's like, "Oh yeah? What'd you say?" He's like, "I told her, I was like, bitch, if you don't get," and then he gets real quiet because they hear a noise, and he like looks up the stairs. Doesn't see she's going. He's like, "I said, bitch, if you don't get your ass in the car right now." And so like they keep trying to tell these stories where they were badasses, but they're like, obviously showing like how actually scared the husbands are of, saying the word bitch around their wives. So like it just gets ridiculous to the point where like they're like, "We're going to the store." So then they're driving, and then like they're turning the radio all the way up, rolling the window. "I said bitch," and then like they're climbing a tree. Next thing you know, they're like shooting off into outer space, and they're all like, "I said bitch." It's so fucking funny. I
No,
like
what was the movie that? Oh gosh, what was his name? It's Jordan, right?
Yeah, Jordan Peele and Michael Key.
Yeah. So what was the movie that he did?
He did the
because
Get
he's
Out.
done two. Get Out. Yeah, that was the one. Have you seen Get Out, Kelsey?
I have.
Yeah. So that's one half of the sketch comedy group is the guy that
Okay.
directed that movie.
Yeah.
Which
Okay, so nobody who was in it. So that isn't super helpful.
Well, I don't know. It's weird because their humor was definitely like it's clever, but it was like real kind of like dumb humor most of the time. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And then he the first movie he directed was like this amazing movie that was like really smart and like kind of profound. And it's like, oh wow, so you're just okay. Well, you're smarter than me.
I want to say
go look at a shoe.
I want to say like one of their skits to talk about the dumb humor part. One of their skits that I ever saw that led me to them was the noise. That one was one of the first ones, and literally the entire skit, Kelsey, is this guy. They're at like a breakdancing competition, and a dude like sees the dude do something cool, and it's like noise. And then this other guy across, which is the Jordan and fucking Michael, and then Jordan's just like, yeah, noise. And it's like, did you just noise my noise? It's like, nah, man, I was just talking about. I said noise first. He's like, no, you didn't. You just noised my noise. Like, that's literally the entire fucking skit is them arguing about that. And I was like, this is fucking great. This is fucking fantastic.
This does not sound like my kind of humor.
Some of it I think you would get a kick out of. I think
I was gonna say,
Megan
I
shit
think I
would be
could show
really
you
good.
like a list of them that I think you'd actually like.
Yeah, but the
'cause
ones
I
that
don't-
are
Okay.
like on that level, yeah, I don't think you would really care too much for it. She'd be like, well, I'm glad he went on to do other things. That's for sure. Oh, man. Yeah, they had some good ones. Man, now that I'm on the spot, I can't think of what my favorite one was. I do like the one where he did the landlord looking for the midget.
That one was very
That
good.
was so good because it's like at the end, he just fucking pulls the fucking cane apart. It's like a sword and just stabs the ceiling. This dude just goes flying out of the ceiling. It's like this little fucking midget with this gigantic purple beard on. He's just like, ah! And he just takes off running. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Oh, it's so good.
You know, it's really great to like see my facial expression in the video chat and then see the two people that clearly have not watched this just like, what are you actually talking about?
It's so good.
My face like 80% of the time. What's going
Don't worry,
on?
we can go back to talking about Sword Art Online. We just want to watch you glass over.
No. No.
Although I will say, my last tidbit on that was to watch the opener. If you haven't seen the third season, watch the opener. The opener is like the song and the fucking animation going along with it. It's fucking phenomenal. But anyways,
I don't know.
no,
let me tell you, if there's
just
one
stop your
thing
shit. Just stop your
that
shit.
turns me off of animes, it is every anime opening ever. I think it might be
Oh,
because
God.
you see them 400 times. But you know what I mean? When there's like an opening to like any show,
Can you
and by
not
the end of it,
read?
you're just like, shut up! I've heard this song. I don't want to hear it again.
Can you not read Netflix has a skip the intro option.
I love it. It is my favorite button.
Then
'Cause
stop
I get
your
it
bitching.
every time.
For the ones of us that love the opening, fuck off. All right. I watched it so many times. It's great. I love it.
You know, like Firefly, like, I don't know, I like the show Firefly, so I've watched that enough times, but it's like, man, at some point I'm just like, take the sky! I don't care. I'm done with it. I'm done with the sky. I'm done with this intro. Too long. There's too many of them.
I get the most flack, I think, for the fact that I've never seen Firefly. I'm
What?
such a huge Nathan Fillion fan, and I've never seen Firefly, and I get so much
you should
flack
You
really
for
watch
that.
really
Firefly.
should. You would like it. Like, I wouldn't tell you that if I didn't mean it. You would love it.
I
It's
mean,
just
if
so
you
hard for me
liked
to get
Cowboy
into.
Bebop, it's just
Well, see, that's the
Cowboy
thing.
Bebop, but a little bit different.
That's the thing. Like Cowboy Bebop was like the only like space exploration thing that I liked ever. Like I know I said I grew up on the Star Wars side of fandom, but that's because that was like my household. I didn't really care for Star Wars, and I honestly absolutely hate Star Trek. I just the whole space exploration. I'm such a
Okay,
big
now
fan of
pump your
medieval.
brakes, because Star Trek is amazing.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not for me. I'm such like a
No,
medieval
there can
fan.
be no opinions
There
here.
is an
It's just,
opinion,
it
and
is
it's
objectively
definitely not
good.
I'm just such a medieval fan that I don't care for like the whole final frontier. Like that just does not. I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me. I don't know why.
Don't you want to watch like an old man drink tea and talk about philosophy
No.
on a
He is
spaceship?
Amazing. Okay, let's not have any sense of sarcasm in your statements about Jean-Luc Picard. Okay.
He's my
Oh,
favorite captain.
I do
He
want
is
to
my
point.
favorite captain.
I do want to
but,
point
yeah.
that out though. A bunch of us got together to go see the Wolverine, the one where Logan actually goes to Japan and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
And at the very end, they have that whole end credit scene where it's like fucking Professor X rolls up and Magneto rolls up, and they're in the airport and everything like that. He said a whole bunch of us got together to go watch that. Bree was one of us to go watch that, and dead in the middle of the silence, Bree goes, "It's Jean-Luc Picard!" And I was like, he is known as Professor Xavier in this universe. You need to shut up before we get killed. Like,
He's
literally
definitely known.
everybody in the theater turned around and looked at us. I was like, we're not making it out of here alive. Like, he is known as Professor
This is
X
how we die.
or Professor Xavier. One of those two. That is all you get in this one. We're in
So
the
you know what
wrong
was kinda
theater for that
cool?
shit.
About gosh, I don't
That's
remember
great.
his name. What's Jean-Luc Picard's real actor's name? Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
Patrick Stewart.
So I didn't know this about Patrick Stewart. So you know how him and Ian McKellen did Waiting for Godot, like on stage, and they have all the stuff about them being friends?
No.
Anyways, him and Ian McKellen did a stage play together, and as a result, became very close friends. Ian McKellen is Gandalf. Apparently, like, Patrick Stewart is kind of like low class for British. So him working with Ian McKellen was like him working with like freaking nobility, like him as a peasant. So in the interview, he was talking about how like scary it was for him to be like, "Oh, I'm just like a simpleton compared to him," and I'm like, "Really?" Because all of you guys sound very similar to me. I cannot tell that you are like a crappy British actor and he is like the best British actor. I didn't realize that relationship was there, but it was kind of fascinating to be like, "Oh yeah, I guess you did Star Trek, so." It's not the most prestigious thing if you're going to be like, "I am an actor," and to be like, "Go sit in the chair in your sweatpants," because that's what you're gonna do.
Those are
Star
my-
Trek is very prestigious, and he
I mean,
deserves all the awards in the world.
I think it is. I love Star Trek. It's just, if you were to ask like the common, well, especially like if you were to ask like a British stage actor, like, "Ooh, what's the best thing you can do?" They wouldn't be like American nighttime television.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But
That does
I thought
seem
he
fair.
was great in the role.
I do
and
love
love
the
Next Gen.
actors that are like completely different off screen. Like those are my favorites. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, Ryan Reynolds is like my number one actor. I love him to death. I mean, he played my fucking favorite Marvel character. But Ryan Reynolds doesn't play Deadpool. He just plays Ryan Reynolds. Like that's just Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
To
yeah.
where Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine and then being like this fucking Broadway show, like huge charitable fucking amazing human being, and then going to this like fucking primal savage fucking monster of the MCU. Like it's the greatest. I still forever will love the one blooper where he jumped out of the fucking tank butt ass naked and was like screaming and yelling. And there's that blooper on the DVD where like as he's coming down, his elbow hits the cameraman. And like in mid roar, he's just like, "Oh my god, mate, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?" It's like just instant change. It's so fucking. I love Hugh Jackman.
Have you
so
ever
much.
seen clips of him like river dancing?
Yes, I have.
It is the greatest thing in the world. It's just so
fantastic.
not. If you just know him as Wolverine, just
Yes.
watching Wolverine just rocking a river dance, it's like, what is happening? What? But you're Wolverine.
I mean, he's been all about Rob.
Can you use that voice more often?
Huh?
Please
Can you
always
use
use
that
that
voice
voice.
more often. Yeah.
I mean, if I do it for a long time, it starts to hurt because falsettos are painful. So I was in choir in middle school and high school a bunch, and you do vocal warm-ups, right? And I would get in trouble because I would like try to sing them with the sopranos in falsetto. So I did that a lot. It just drove people around me nuts because it's real obvious when there's one dude falsettoing all the soprano warm-ups. I was not a good singer.
Good lord. Well, we're getting close to wrapping up here, but before we fucking get to that, I do want to say, because we were talking about it, did you ever see the fucking back and forth like Twitter beef between like Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman about the fact that he wanted to do a Wolverine Deadpool movie, and Hugh Jackman was just like, no, I retired the claws. Like, it's been this thing going on for Twitter forever, to the point where like Rob Liefeld was jumping into it, like, the fans want this, da-da-da. If I make an art cover, the fans will all love it. And he made an art cover for it, and all the fans were like fucking upvoting it and shit. Everybody's like, oh my god, please, 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 we need this. And like Hugh Jackman literally replied back with, I retired the claws, but I'm glad the fans love this artwork, da-da-da-da-da. Good job, Rob. And then Ryan Reynolds like, man, and here I thought Hugh Jackman got over his allergy to being shellfish. And I was like, that's so fucking good. Like, they've been going back and forth, right? So finally they're like, we're gonna put an end to the Twitter beef. Like, this is the end to the Twitter beef. So like, Hugh Jackman owns his own coffee company called the Laughing Man Coffee, and it, like, a lot of it goes to charity. All the purchases and shit go to charity, which, you know, it's just Hugh Jackman. And then Ryan Reynolds owns Aviation Gin. So to put the end to the Twitter beef, they had to make commercials and pay for them for each other's products, and then sit down and watch the commercials together for the first time. So they do Ryan Reynolds first, and like, his was, you know, your typical Ryan Reynolds going over the top, but it was like actually a really, really good, like, a solid commercial. He was just like, and who better to put the H, or take the H out of Hugh and put it into hero? None better than my friend Hugh Jackman. And like, you know, shit like that, and it's just going on and on and on. And then like, after it's over, Hugh Jackman's just like, wow, I'm blown away. And then Ryan was like, yeah, it cost $1 million. It's great. It's great. Like, it's just, you know, just being your typical Ryan Reynolds. And like, Hugh Jackman, like I said, I mean, I've never even heard the guy cuss, right? So like, it opens up, Hugh Jackman's sitting there, and he's in this big leather chair, and in front of him he's got this nice wooden table, and it's got Aviation Gin bottle like sitting on it. He's like, Ryan Reynolds is an absolute piece of shit. And then it's just quiet for like 3 solid minutes. And he's like, oh, Aviation Gin, it's good. I've never had it, but I'll probably try it one day, maybe. And then he like opens the cap, and then turns the bottle on its side, and just starts pouring onto the table and then onto the floor, and he's just sitting there watching it. And he's like, yep. And then it goes off, and then like, they're both just quiet, and then Ryan Reynolds just kind of like puts his hand over his mouth in like awe, and then like gets up and starts walking away. And Hugh Jackman's like, I thought the truce was a joke. I'm not gonna lie. I thought the truce was a joke. It is by far one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
I just love how it just opens up. He's like, Ryan Reynolds is a piece of shit. I was just like, that's so great. Oh my god. Because I just got through seeing like the Twitter post where they did Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal invited Ryan Reynolds over to an ugly sweater party for Christmas, but they told everybody else at the party not to wear a sweater. So Ryan Reynolds was the only one that showed up in a sweater, so they took a picture with him, and he just did not look happy at all. I was like, oh, poor Ryan. Love that guy. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and wrap up here. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure you like and subscribe. Also, turn on those notifications. That way you get notified every time we upload a new video. Make sure that you hit us up in the comment section below and tell us anything you wanted to talk about. You know, if you loved SAO, or if you didn't like SAO, and that, you know, Cody is a terrible human being for not liking
shut up
SAO.
about SAO.
Hey, I'm not saying I don't like SAO. I'm just saying I'm never going to acknowledge that I like SAO in a public format because of the shame that I will feel deep inside of myself.
I embrace it. It's great. Anyways, Also, if you want a more direct form of communication, you can hit us up on the Twitter links, or if you want to come hang out while we play video games, you can also hit us up on the Twitch links as well. But at the end of all this, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time.